Hello and welcome back to a new edition of Harmonic Quick Bits. Today we're going to take a look at the 7 positions of the 3 notes per string scales. What are 3 notes per string scales? It literally means 3 notes per string. It helps us from a mechanical standpoint or technical standpoint to even out particular technical movements such as alternate picking, legato tapping, etc. It's in no way better than the cage style system. It's just a different way of laying out the notes across the fretboard. So another point here is also that the names that equate the different positions of the scale have nothing to do with the actual modal names that these scales are given. It's just a guitar player way of referring to these scales as different positions from within the major scale. So the first note in our scale is called Ionian. The second position would be Dorian, the third Phrygian, the fourth Lydian, the fifth Mixolydian, the sixth Aeolian, which is also minor, our relative minor to the Ionian scale or major scale, and then lastly we have Locrian. It only refers to the relative starting points within our major scale. So instead of saying I'm going to play the major scale from the third scale degree, guitar players a lot of times tend to say I'm going to play the E Phrygian scale position, and that is that. So there's a little bit more to playing a modal scale in context of a mode. Unless you're playing it from root note to root note, you're not really going to get a modal sound out of the modal scales that we're discussing here, which are again only used to label the points that we're starting from. So let's take a look at the 7 positions. I've written them out here for you. They will pop up on the screen. And of course, they're available on my Patreon page to download the whole lesson and the PDFs to all of that and guitar profiles. So let's take a look at the 7 positions. So as you notice, these 7 positions are all related to the key of C major. So our notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then it starts over again. The way I laid it out here is for this lesson, from the C note to the D note to the E note, F, G, A, B. Of course, it continues further up the neck, so make sure that you're covering the entire neck with these 7 positions. Furthermore, we have 12 keys. So practice these scales in the relevance to your playing. So if you're playing a lot of times in G major, obviously practice these scales in G major and so on. Hopefully eventually you cover all 12 keys, but again, make sure that it is and stays applicable to what you're doing. In the second example here, I prepared a typical combination of 2 adjacent positions. In this case, I'm playing the C Ionian scale position ascending, and I slide over to the D Dorian position and descend that. Please practice this also with all the other remaining scale combinations, and hopefully eventually you put them all together. So that means you're ascending one scale, you're moving over to the next scale and descending that, and so on, all across the fretboard. to work a little bit on coordination and alternate picking, I have prepared in this example here a simple way of practicing these scales using the rhythm pyramid. What is the rhythm pyramid? It's a quite easy way of organizing your different rhythmic subdivisions. So we're starting with a whole note, you get 2 half notes, 4 quarter notes, 8 eighth notes, 12 8-note triplets, and then 16 16th notes, and of course you can continue with that. But for this example, we're just using eighth notes, switching over to triplets, and then to 16th notes. Let's take a look. Of course, all this material is available on my Patreon site as a download. You will find Guitar Pro 8 files there, as well as PDF files and of course diagrams. There will be lots more to discuss with the 3-note per string scales and the way you can break them down to make them even more usable and also give you a better way of getting around the fretboard without getting stuck in a position or the typical up and down playing. But that will be in our next lesson. So until next time, happy practice and keep on shredding.